So this is the video I took it from. And look, it's not his video. This channel has 12,000 subscribers. Uploaded 2 years ago. Please tell me how I got struck and they didn't. I mean, like, what the fuck? It's crazy. It absolutely, I mean, a video only has 2,000 views, but tell me how he's still up and I'm not. Like, give me a fucking break. YouTube is such bullshit. Okay. First things first, let me say hi to everyone. What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone has a wonderful morning. I did not expect to go live this morning. But after I uploaded episode 2 to Patreon, I was listening to Court TV, which was really dumb. Because now I just got mad and I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going live. So my first question is, does anyone know what time Brian's court hearing is? Because I don't know what time the court hearing is. But I saw like T-Rev was supposed to go live like a half hour ago. So I don't know, is it being recorded? Is it not being recorded? Like, I mean, aired? Or is it just updates? Does anyone know what time? Because I'm assuming if it's court first thing in the morning, it would be right around now. Oh, 1:30 their time. So, Stone, what time is that here? 12:30? They're in Idaho. Are they Central Time or Eastern? Yeah, but I don't know what time zone they're in. Oh. 3:30? No, that wouldn't be 3:30 my time. All right. Idaho is split in 2 zones. They're either Eastern or... No, they're either Pacific or Mountain. They're Pacific time. All right, so then that would be, if it's 1:30 Pacific time, then 3:30 here. Okay, yeah, so I won't be, I'll try to come back, but. So, all right, I just want to make sure like it wasn't interrupting my stream or anything like that. Okay. Have you heard the latest, Science Girl? You might not have heard the latest. And his DNA was actually not at the house. His DNA was just found on the button of the sheath. But all right, so after I uploaded episode 2, I decided to make a dumb mistake and listen to Court TV. I should have never listened. So I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but the latest thing is about the glove that Chris McDonough found. Yes, people, you heard that correct. All of Court TV is in a tizzy about the glove that Chris McDonough found. And I'm like, what? Are we really that desperate for views? So now Court TV is like, oh, well, if you find a glove, if you acquit, if it don't fit, then you acquit. Oh my fucking God. So Chris McDouchebag has ruined this case. Okay. So Chris McDouchebag finds a glove. Let me give you guys a little up to date on what's happening. Chris McDouchebag finds a glove when he went with his RV in an airport. Next to the garbage can. The police standing right over the garbage can didn't see it. Nobody saw it, but Chris McDonough happened to catch this glove. And the glove has mysterious DNA. The glove was found days later. The glove was found days later. Nobody knows whose glove it is, where it came from. It could be fucking anybody's glove. It was found days later. The house was a party house. You're going to find stuff in the house. You're going to find fingerprints in the house. A fresh glove on top of the snow, just sparkling in the sun, exactly. Just so Chris McDonough can find it. Gator, I'm just telling you what Court TV said. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm going to play some of this because I think you guys will be as stunned as I was. Now, I didn't hear the whole thing. I'm going to go through the whole thing now. I only heard like the last couple of minutes of it. But I'm like, are these people really this stupid? Are these people really on Court TV? Like, Vinny, I had more hope for you, Vinny. I seriously had more hope for you on this, Vinny. But the way they're talking, and then all of a sudden I hear Chris McDouche's glove. And then someone else, another quote-unquote expert in the house, and I stress the word expert, this expert female said, I don't think, and I'm not quoting directly, but somewhere around, I just want you to know that the glove, I don't think it really plays a big part in it. I don't think jurors are going to really focus on the glove too much, you know, because we have his DNA on the sheath. If this woman was standing in front of me, I would have fucking banged her head into a wall. First of all, how could you say that the glove doesn't mean anything when you're sitting here fucking talking about it on Court TV? Hello? You just put reasonable doubt. You literally just put reasonable doubt into everyone's head. All you need is one juror. Just one. Then she says, you know, and we already have the murderer's DNA. Bitch, he's not a murderer yet. He's still innocent in the eyes of the law. But when you have these experts on Court TV already naming him as as the murderer, where's our justice system? Please tell me. Where the fuck is our justice system? In my heart of hearts, do I think Brian's guilty? Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely. But, am I going to say that he's a murderer? I don't know if he's a murderer. I do not know. I have no idea if he's a murderer or not. I haven't seen the evidence yet. I don't know the evidence yet. Why? I'm not privy to all the evidence yet. When we go to court and when all of the evidence is released, then I will be smart enough to say he is a murderer. I can say, in my opinion, I think he's the murderer. But, hello, we're not even in court yet. How the fuck are you supposedly an expert running your mouth? I could change my mind. I could totally change my mind about my feeling on Brian Kohberger. What if the evidence has nothing attached to him? Nothing. Except one fingerprint of DNA sheath. No evidence anywhere else. I might change my mind. And I'm a pretty reasonable person. So if I would change my mind, don't you think a juror could change their mind? Why are you poisoning the well like this? Because let me tell you something. Honestly, if I heard, yeah, we know the DNA on the snap of the sheath was a button snap, same thing. If I'm a juror, now call me a bitch, call me an asshole. Other people have, but hear me out. If I know, it just means the sheath was there. If I was on that juror and I hear all of these people calling him an asshole, I'm sorry, calling him a murderer, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on that stand and I'm going to look for every fucking reason to prove these people wrong. Does that make me an asshole? It sure as fuck does. Does that make me stupid? Maybe, depending on who you ask. But the more people that want to put out how innocent he is, how he's this, how he's that. I'm sorry, not innocent, how guilty he is, how he's a murderer. All these experts. You're supposed to be an expert. You're supposed to know that it's alleged, not proven, alleged. So I'm the asshole that would go on that jury and be like, you know what? Let's fucking prove he's innocent. Let's prove all these experts wrong and prove he's innocent. That's where I'm at right now. Literally, that's where I'm at right now. I want to prove Brian didn't do this because I keep hearing all these assholes prove that he did. Well, I want to prove he didn't. That's literally where I'm at. No joke. Now, here's the other thing. Let's take this avenue that I'm going to go down and you're all going to cringe. In order to snap something, you need the other half of it. Try snapping something with a finger and closing it and not having fingerprints on the other side. There was no fingerprints on the other side. It was simply on the button top. That doesn't mean shit. Honestly, that really doesn't mean anything. Because you need the other side to be able to close it and to be able to snap it. You can't just snap it with one finger. And you can't unsnap it with one finger. So please tell me how he pulled it out of the sheath with one hand and only had one fingerprint. There's no fingerprints on the other side of the sheath. There's no fingerprints anywhere in his car. There's no DNA from the evidence in his car. There's nothing. There's nothing that ties him to this murder with the exception of one button sheath. One fingerprint of button sheath. Make it make sense, people. I'm telling you, I'm going to prove he's innocent. You guys that all think he's guilty are going to totally change your mind. You're going to be like, you know what? Maybe she's right. And no, we're not turning into Lana, so don't freak out. Not if it's on your belt loop or in his boot. You still need two hands. Yeah, but Science Girl, if you unsnap it, you don't even need to touch the snap. You can flick it with your finger, but your DNA would be on the leather. He couldn't have wiped it down without wiping down the button. Doesn't make sense. And if it was around his waist and it just fell off while killing them, then it wouldn't have the thing. Nope. Science Girl, that was all rumors. He likely wiped it down, and I'll be interested to hear about the IDs he had. Now, I'm in a group of, Brian Kohberger's innocent group, and they brought it. There are some really good arguments in there. One of them being it wasn't any of their IDs. It was some girl that went missing or something. I don't remember exactly. Yes, there would be DNA on more than just one button. There would be DNA on the hand. There would be DNA on the, whatchamacallit, on the back of the leather. The button has grooves. DNA could easily settled in the ridges of the snap. Absolutely, they could have. But mind you, this is all in 10 minutes. All this happened in 10 minutes. 15 minutes, 12 minutes, however long it took for him to do this. But let me play what some of these experts are saying. Hold on, let me pull it up. It was just on, too. I am dumbfounded at what I heard. Yeah, we don't know whose idea it was.
I'm Benny Politan. We begin the...
All right. My girl is growing up right before our eyes. She's getting more and more mature.
With all the details. Go ahead, Chanley.
Great to be with you, Vinny. Literally, my first stop here in Idaho is to be on with you at the Latah County Courthouse, where prosecutors just today filed their notice to seek the death penalty against the accused mass murderer of Madison Mogen, Haley Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. This is big news. It was to be expected. It's not surprising given what he is accused of doing, but now it is official. Here's a look at the document that was filed. It says in part that the state...
Okay, because it's court TV, I do have to stop it every couple of seconds. Now, this says the state gives this notice based on the fact that it is not identified or been provided with any mitigating circumstances sufficient to prohibit the triers of fact from considering all penalties authorized by the Idaho legislature, including the possibility of a capital sentence. Consequently, considering all evidence currently known to the state is compelled to file this notice of intent to seek the death penalty. Now, let me put this in layman's terms, everyone. All this says is that they may go after the death penalty, but they're looking at all possibilities. So for everyone to get so excited over, oh my God, now it's official, like that girl just did in Court TV is, and it seems like they were getting like really excited that they're going to put someone to death. Okay, I don't really find that to be exciting unless it was my child, but that's just me. That's an opinion. But they're not even saying that they're definitively doing it. They're saying that, you know, with the evidence they have, it looks like they're going to hit all possibilities. So I'm sorry, Court TV. I'm going to say the same thing I said last night. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. It's not like they wrote, hey, we're going to go for death because we fucking know this guy's guilty, without the cursing, obviously, but blah, 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 blah. No, but Stone, if what they're saying, though, if you read the whole thing like I just did, they are saying, and again, this is Idaho code. I'm sorry, this is after the code. But basically, they're just saying that it's not official. The state gives notice based on the fact it is not identified or been provided with any mitigating circumstances sufficient to prohibit. What that means is they have not given any reason why they shouldn't seek the death penalty. So being that the death penalty is the worst case scenario, they're saying that they haven't received any information of why they shouldn't pursue the death penalty. So then it says, from considering all penalties, death penalty is one of them. It's the most extreme. Authorized by Idaho legislature. Stone, listen. Legislator, including the possibility of a capital sentence. The possibility of a capital sentence. Possibility. Consequently, considering all evidence currently known to the state is compelled to file this notice of intent to seek the death penalty. They wrote that, Stoner. State announces it's seeking death. They wrote that for a headline. They didn't write that because that's what it says. They wrote that for a headline. And again, let me say, they are going after the death penalty. That they are, because according to what they just wrote, according to what they're saying, they're seeking the death penalty because it is the highest, you know, like the biggest thing they can do to, the biggest charge they can give is the death penalty. And they plan to pursue it if it all comes to fruition. That's what it means.
Gives this notice based on the fact that it has not identified or been provided with any mitigating circumstances sufficient to prohibit the triers of fact from considering all penalties authorized by the Idaho legislature, including the possibility of capital sentence. Consequently, considering all evidence currently known to the state is compelled to file this notice of intent to seek the death penalty.
So again, in layman's terms, they're not gonna make a Casey Anthony mistake. They are going to seek every possible thing they can, including the death penalty. That's what that means. Hey, I can see the hearts. Whoever's giving me hearts and faces, I can see it.
And it goes on to say that at this time, based on the information known to prosecutors, they find several aggravating circumstances surrounding this mass murder, including that it was especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel, that the defendant has exhibited a propensity to commit murder. It lists 5 separate aggravating factors in this document. It also concludes by reserving the right to withdraw its intent to seek the death penalty if it learns more information in the future. But we know that the victim's family...
I can see the 100%. I can see the hearts. I can see it all. Money, guys, money. We need money, not hearts. No. Yeah, I can see all of them. That's awesome. I thought we're never able to see them. I guess on Streamlabs you can.
Families in this case, especially the Gonsalves family, supports this death penalty. I spoke, of course, with Steve Gonsalves recently about the possibility of the prosecutor seeking the death penalty, and this is what he told me.
Who's Kaylee J. Day that they just showed that picture of? Who was that? Anyone know? I see all those hearts. Turn them into dollars. I'll be rich.
The death penalty you support, right?
We definitely do. Yep, that's part of the reason we moved to Idaho. You know, we want a community that protects the most vulnerable, and that's something that if a father can't protect them, then you hope that the society is willing to step up and do the right thing. So that's what we're looking for. The ultimate form of justice is that.
And of course, Vinny, all of this news happening today ahead of a pivotal motions hearing happening inside this courthouse tomorrow, and of course, I will be in there.
Yeah, it was. You know, the deadline. We know the clock was ticking, ticking, ticking.
Her last name is in Day? That's why I was confused. Thank you, Vanessa. But her last name is in Day? That didn't look like her. That's not her. Thank you, Tony. That doesn't even look like her. Kaylee J. Day? I don't know. From a quick look, I'm like, who is that? I thought it was someone else. I guess because I never saw her brown hair.
I always try to tell them they do it every time. I tell them there's a problem, but they acting like it's fine. I'm begging them to stop, but they leave me with a like.
I believe you. I'm just saying it caught me by surprise because I'm like, who is that?
Is what he told me.
Ticking, ticking, ticking. And then just on the eve of this huge hearing tomorrow, getting this word, has there been any reaction from anyone to this announcement yet? Or are we waiting to hear from folks, either victims, the defendant, or anyone else associated with all this?
We could possibly hear a lot about it in the hearing tomorrow, possibly. The defense may say something as they did on the record in the last hearing. They addressed why he stood still at his arraignment because they want to contest the indictment. So they offer tidbits inside there. There is a gag order still over the matter covering the parties. The attorneys representing victims of this and wanted this.
We've got a lot to cover tonight to get folks ready for that. Thanks so much. That, hey, well, wait a minute, right? A defense team in a case like this is, all right, we're going to try to keep this guy off of death row, right? And if they keep him off death row, they'll consider that a victory. But then the other part is they are not conceding anything here and will fight every piece of evidence and point the finger wherever they can. At other potential suspects. I want you to take a look at this clip from a great show, The Interview Room with Chris McDonough. It's on YouTube. We've had Chris on the show many, many times. He's going to be with us tonight.
Here we go. Vinny Politano's new bestie.
Also, so don't worry, he's going to be with us. But on one of his episodes, it was a fascinating moment, and it was early on in this case in the investigation. Take a look.
I actually found a glove and turned it, I pointed it out to the officer who was there securing the scene, and they came and they collected it. The officer that was there, obviously they didn't know about it.
In my opinion, Chris McDonough needs to hook up with Betty and Olivia, who found the water bottle, because I think they're all on the same wavelength. I will call this out. I said this originally. I do not believe Chris found a glove. I do believe Chris planted a glove because Chris has to have attention. Chris has to be on court TV. Chris has to be in the headlines. Chris is a total narcissist, much like Betty, who needs to be front and center. So I'm sorry, I do not believe this glove was just found. I think he planted it. I really, truly do. I'm sorry, I just do. The toy knife, what toy knife? So I don't care about all these experts that don't know Chris, that just think he's a YouTuber. No, bullshit. Chris fucking, prove to me Chris didn't plant that glove. I'm sorry. It's just too fucking obvious. Too obvious. Now he's always on Nancy Grace. See, I don't watch Nancy Grace, but yeah. Angela, I do. I think he planted it. I honestly do. Until someone proves to me otherwise, I'm sticking with that. Because Chris is that much of a narcissist that he wanted to be a part of this case. He wanted to stand out. He wanted, I'm telling you, I believe he planted it. And I believe it has nothing to do with the case at all. Hey, Steph.
Because he came over and photographed it, and he talked to the head evidence tech, and immediately, later they'd come out and got it.
Okay, so Chris McDonough spots a glove near and around the scene of the crime where they're securing everything. You saw the crime scene tape.
Science girl, he would absolutely do that tenfold. You don't know him. He would absolutely do that. Just like he fucking, that dude on Twitter. He fucking, Chris McDouchebag. He, whatchamacallit? He, was convinced that some dude on Twitter was Brian Laundrie. And he had it convinced, totally convinced. MGL didn't plan anything, Science Girl. That was Olivia and Betty. Had nothing to do with Marissa.
Right. Take a look now at what the defense is saying about this. They're saying on December 17th, lab analysis, we're aware of 2 additional males' DNA within the house, okay, where the deceased were located, and another unknown male DNA on a glove found outside the residence on November 20th. Further, these 3 separate and distinct male DNA profiles were not identified through CODIS, leading to the conclusion that the profiles do not belong to the accused killer. So we've got unknown DNA that the defense is saying, hey, wait a minute, whose DNA is this on this glove?
Okay. First of all, see, I don't know anything about the toy knife. I don't know anything about that. I don't even remember hearing about a toy knife. Exactly. What McDouchebag did to the Twitter guy was awful. Awful. And he told everybody that this was Brian Laundrie and blah, blah. But this wasn't fucking Brian Laundrie. I mean, it took 2 seconds you knew it wasn't Brian Laundrie. But he was convinced. He told all his followers this guy was harassed. That's why he got kicked off of YouTube. So, it was fucked up. So, lab analysis, we're aware of 2 additional males' DNA within the house where the deceased were located. Okay. Don't we know, all right? Don't we know 100% for sure, because I think we do, that this was a party house and that in the morning there were other kids that were there? I am not surprised that there's other DNA in the house. Now, mind you, they're not saying other DNA on the bodies. They're just saying other DNA where the deceased were located. Well, if you remember, there were a lot of kids that were there that morning. The brother of Ethan is the one that found him. The best friend of somebody was there. So that doesn't surprise me at all. Now go one step further. The glove. The glove could be anybody's. The glove could be somebody that was somebody's glove. The reason why it's not a cop or one of the workers is because their DNA profile is in the system, because you have to get fingerprinted to work that kind of a job. So it's somebody that was never fingerprinted. So yeah, anyone, if it was all the police, the tech, any of those, they would be in the CODIS. If you've ever been arrested, you're in the CODIS. So the people whose DNA it was never fingerprinted.
And whose DNA
is within the house, right? So what does all this mean? Let's start with the glove, and let's bring in our special guest, former homicide detective, the man who found the glove, host of the interview room. Chris McDonough is with us. Chris, great to see you tonight. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Vinny.
First of all, your reaction. Now the defense is taking a look at this glove and saying, hey, wait a minute. Give us a little more detail surrounding exactly where you found it and your thoughts as a homicide investigator about that glove.
Sure, absolutely. So it was Thanksgiving Day, and I was in Idaho on another case because I work, with the Cold Case Foundation.
He's such a liar. You were there for that case, dumbass. Just be honest, Chris. You're such a liar.
And I took the day off. My wife and I drove up to just take a look at, the house, 1122 King Street. And as
Look at what he's got in between the couch. The fucking YouTube 100,000. Come on, Chris. Really? Like, hang it up. Do something. But just to put it right behind his shoulder. What a fucking loser. I literally cannot stand this guy.
I was walking up the street, and as we neared the residence, you could see that the scene was clearly, taped off, and there were two trash cans near the curb line. And there were, it was on the public side. It was on the public street. There were a bunch of people around as well. And I happened to, notice a dark-colored, what appeared to be a glove, with some snow cover on it, sitting behind the trash cans. And so there was a security officer, if you see that police car that's being shown there, and I waved to him, and, the old homicide guy in me said, hey, there's a glove here. And he got out of the car, and he walked towards me, and he said, what are you saying? And I pointed to the glove, and I said, look, there's a glove down there. You guys may want to collect that. And he, was basically surprised that it was sitting there. And he looked at it and said, okay, yeah, I'm going to go tell the evidence guys, and we'll get it. So my wife and I started to continue to move up the hill. And I turned around, and he was taking photographs of it. And then eventually, I'm assuming that the evidence folks, came and got it, which it sounds like they did.
They did.
So I didn't see him actually collect it.
So first question, everyone home right now is like, well, Chris, did you touch it? Could it be your DNA on the glove?
Yeah, no. It's not my DNA, and they're welcome to, take a buccal swab to, to eliminate me as possible. But,
Vinny Politano, how fucking dumb are you? He's an ex-homicide detective. His fingerprints are going to be in the CODIS. Holy shit. These people can't be this stupid. This is what I was listening to before, and I'm like, is he for real? Like, oh my God, you can't be this dumb. An ex-homicide detective is going to have their fingerprints in the system.
The old homicide guy in me, as you know, Vinny, more than anybody, the last thing you want as a, a prosecutor and or a defense attorney is a surprise, right? And the fact that it was sitting there, to me, that was a surprise because it was Thanksgiving Day, and, this glove's sitting there. Now, if it belongs to an investigator, if it belongs to the public, or if it belongs to the suspect, I have no idea. But, I certainly saw it, and I certainly pointed it out, and they recovered it.
Well, it's now, I look at things as a prosecutor, right? At trial, the defense could try to make this out to be like the smoking gun in the case for them. That, hey, whose glove is it? We don't know. But I guess something that they could do is get the DNA of every investigator who was there, and then there were tons of media there as well, right? And where you found is kind of on the line of where the tape is, right? Because we keep looking at this video, but so a member of the public or any of the many members of the media that may have been there could have dropped that glove. So if anyone from the media dropped that glove, they need to call investigators and give them your DNA so it doesn't become reasonable doubt in the case, if in fact that's how it got there.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, if you look at the early photographs of some of the media reports of that trash can area, you can see the glove. And it's before the snow had covered it. It's sitting there.
Wow.
So it was there long before I got there.
Wow. Wow. And what does your gut tell you about the DNA on the glove outside and the DNA that they're talking about?
Okay, if it was there ahead of time, then correct. Then he'd implant it. If it was there ahead of time. So if he's saying you could see it in pictures before he even got there, I find that a little odd that he would even say that, but who knows? Angela, everybody wears gloves. It was freezing out and snowing. I bet it's Betty's. No, Betty's in the system.
From 2 unknown males inside the home.
Well, I think the DNA aspect of this is going to say that there were a lot of people in that home. And whether or not they're going to be identified is going to be, quite a hurdle. But the defense has a major problem, and that is the DNA on that snap, on that sheath, up in that upper bedroom next to that victim. That's the real elephant in the room. The other stuff, yes, exactly. There you go.
Yeah,
that's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's I don't know how.
Okay, again, how are you going to snap that without touching anything else? Think about it. How are you going to snap that? Oh, it wasn't a warm glove, it was a plastic glove.
How to get around that? They're going to make
arguments, and we want a vigorous defense. That's the way our system works. But it's fascinating to see how everything is developing in this case. Chris, it's the Interview Room with Chris McDonough. Great podcast on YouTube. Take a look at it, folks. He has updates on this case and all these fascinating cases from around the country. Chris, appreciate it. Great to see you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Vinny.
All right, let's bring our think tank. Joining us tonight in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Al Wunsch III. Joining us from St. Bart's.
This is probably where I turned it on before.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
St. Bart's. Criminal defense attorney Darnell Grosslin. Everyone at home jealous right now. And in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, family law attorney Jennifer Brandt. She's not jealous because she was on the beach with Oprah just a couple weeks ago. So, all right. So let's start with the death penalty. Anyone surprised or anyone think that at any point it could be retracted?
I think it can be retracted.
Okay, under what circumstances, Al, do you see prosecutors who've retained the right to retract it to suddenly no longer seek the death penalty in this case?
And they reach a plea arrangement with him, and they spare the people.
All right, it could, Surfer Girl, it could not be a cop's glove because cops are in the system. So I know a lot of people keep saying it's cops, cops, cops. No, it can't be the cops. Every single police officer has their fingerprints in CODIS. I don't know about like coroners and that kind of stuff, or I don't know if people cleaning up the scene have to, go on the CODIS, but all cops are fingerprinted, so it's definitely not a cop.
People with the trial and the expense and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It'd be foolish for them not to pull that off the table then.
As a deal, but not if he's like what he's doing, what I believe he's going to do, to say I didn't do it.
Well, if he's going to trial, that's going to stay on the table. There's no way around that, and it'd be foolish to take it off at that point. But I do think that is a very, very good bargaining chip if you're looking from the defense side. And like you said, I mean, if you get the death penalty pulled back, that's a victory. So, down the line, it could possibly be something that would weigh in the favor of, getting into a plea arrangement.
Okay, so they're going to seek the death penalty. That's a big headline from today. Big hearing tomorrow, and on the docket, a bunch of things talking about the evidence. I think we're getting a better idea now, Darn.
Okay, this is where I'm confused too. This was released 20 minutes before I went live. He's saying tomorrow. So was this taped yesterday and then they just released it today? Because court's today, not tomorrow. So I don't know if he just messed up or what that was about.
Darnell, where the defense might go. What are your thoughts about the glove and the unknown DNA found by Chris McDonough?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, when I see these type of cases playing out the way they do, it makes me scratch my head because we spend so much time in law school and you think this is going to be more complicated. Here's Chris, who looks like he's in his RV traveling through the country. He rolls up on the scene and wow, Chris is the one who spots a glove. None of the officers, none of the detectives, but Chris does. Jumps out of his RV, spots a glove. Now it's like, okay, maybe we should collect this. And then my second thought is, was it an isotona? Are we back in the OJ case? If it doesn't fit, we must acquit. Now we're all about this glove again. And so it boggles my mind that after all this complicated law school stuff, we're dealing with, if it doesn't fit, we must acquit again. So, I don't think there's, we can overlook the glove, but let's not put too much stock in the glove.
All right, Jennifer Brandt, I'm always concerned.
Now, my first thought on that is, how are you not going to put stock in a glove? If you have a glove, a latex glove, outside of a murder scene of this brutal murder, and here is a latex glove, how are you not putting stock in it? Just tell me, how are you not putting stock in it? That means something. Oh, you know what? You're right. Crystal, I didn't even care. I wasn't even paying attention to that because I just turned it on. I thought it was just like 20 minutes ago. So where are you, how are you not going to put stock in that? I'm sorry, but that means something. No, Science Girl, it was November.
From the evidence that I've seen, specifically this evidence of his DNA here, we'll talk about that in the next segment. But
okay, now Vinny's saying his DNA was on the other side of the sheath. I don't remember ever hearing it was anywhere but on the button. So help me understand. Was his DNA on the back side of the sheath or only on the button? Because last time I followed the case, it was only on the button. Absolutely, Crystal.
are you concerned, Jennifer Brandt, for prosecutors that jurors may think, hey, you need to find out whose glove that is? If you don't tell me whose glove that is, then I may have a reasonable doubt.
I'm not concerned, Vinny, because they have the sheath, the knife sheath, and that is really strong evidence. I mean, that was found right near the victim. That has his DNA on it. I think the rest of this is sort of a distraction. Okay, there's a glove out there, but it could have been many people that glove belonged to. There's really no connection necessarily with the murderer. And you have a sheath there, which could...
You hear her? No connection with the murderer. How do you know he's a murderer? And this is an expert. This is a court TV expert. And you're sitting here saying, calling someone a murderer. No. No. Where is our justice system?
Hillary does have a connection with the murder and was right next to the victim, and that's what has his DNA. So I don't think any of this really matters. I don't think it would create reasonable doubt. And I think this is the strongest evidence. And I think the defense is doing a good job of trying to, spin this case in every direction. But bottom line is, I don't know how they get around that.
There's a million ways to get around that. A million ways. Just because a sheath was found doesn't mean he was there. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. She said the murderer, exactly. Meaning him.
Connection necessarily with the murderer. And you have a sheath there, which clearly does have a connection with the murder and was right next to the victim, and that's what has his DNA. So I don't think any of this really matters. I don't think it would.
My point being, how do you know who the murderer is? That's my whole point. You don't know who the murderer is. Maybe the murderer is the guy in the glove. Maybe Brian just lent him a sheath. Maybe Brian just lent him a knife. No, it means the knife was there. Not that he was there. It means the knife was there. Exactly. Even if Brian did this 100%, right now Brian is innocent. And Science Girl, his DNA was not found. His DNA was found on a knife sheath. His DNA was not found in the house. Absolutely no DNA of Brian was found in the house other than the knife sheath. That's it. Nothing else. So all that proves is that Brian's knife sheath was there. Wrong, Science Girl. Way wrong. Lots of people have, a stolen gun. And just because their gun is the one that shot the person doesn't mean that they were there. Exactly. He's presumed innocent. We know very little of the actual evidence. Very little. Moral of the story, don't touch other weapons. That's true too. But if I stole my neighbor's gun and I go shoot someone and I leave the gun, that doesn't mean my neighbor was there. That just means the gun was there, not the neighbor was there. And the neighbor wasn't there. Neighbor had nothing to do with it. I did it. I'm the one that shot him. I'm the one that took the gun. Someone could have easily stole Brian's, whatchamacallit? Someone could have easily stole Brian's knife. Recently, a crime in my area took place and they found DNA on a weapon. It was sold over a year ago and they were never at the home the crime took place in. Back square one. Exactly. Hey, Joy. Latex gloves and all black clothes. Since 2020, rubber gloves and masks unfortunately have become common street trash. That's a good point. You're right. Owen said he started criminal law and planned it to leave no DNA, but now he wasn't smart enough to make sure no other DNA was left, playing devil's advocate. Those cars on the drive scene, I agree with you, Janice. Yes, sheath, there's no denying his DNA was on the sheath. No denying it at all. I don't think that's even up for debate. But there was also no DNA or blood in his car. They found no evidence of the murders in the car. I'm sorry, you can't clean a car that well. As of right now, from what we know, is there reasonable doubt? You bet your ass there is. I am not convinced beyond a reasonable doubt to send someone to death with the evidence that we know right now. Never happened. I would never convict someone to death based on the evidence we know now. We've asked phone going in airplane mode before and during the time of the murders and then switch it. I need more on that, Christina. You can clean all you want, nothing covers blood. Yeah, luminol should have got it. That's what Stoner said to me last night. Wouldn't luminol get it? Most likely. That's why I go back to Jason's theory about being naked. He absolutely could have thrown them out, but where'd he throw them? That's the question. Where did he throw them? But I'm just saying, as of right now, I wouldn't give him death. I don't even think I'd convict him right now. I'd want more evidence. One survivor saw a naked man leaving. Other one saw a clothed, bushy eyebrow man. Oh, I thought luminol would always react. Someone said Jason naked. Woo woo. And I agree with you that we know about 15% of the... I don't even think we know 15%. The record of his cell phone activity, I believe that was part of the search warrant. Yeah, but a lot of their search warrants were blown up to be something it's not. I'm just saying, as of right now, I'm not convinced he's guilty. And I'm going to play devil's advocate because I don't like the experts. So I'm going to now be an asshole and take the opposite side that I think he's innocent. And I'm going to prove to you guys why he's innocent.
What's all that up front?
Hold on, what?
I said, what's all that up front?
They're doing the roof. I thought the same thing. I'm like, why is there a U-Haul here? So I went outside. I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, can I help you? He's like, well, we're doing the roof. I said, oh.
Yeah, I thought it was the roof. Just, I was surprised it was in a U-Haul.
That's what I said. I guess stuff was too big, too heavy.
Probably.
So the ring bell kept going off before. I'm like, who the hell's here? So I see like a U-Haul truck in the driveway. So I just assumed that U-Haul was like somebody was turning around. And it kept going off. The guy's not leaving. I'm like, the fuck? So I finally go outside and I'm like, can I help you? He's like, oh, we're here for the roof. In a U-Haul truck? Okay. Yes, and that was my other thing too, but I heard they weren't. I heard they weren't, YouTube, because I said the same thing. That was like my final, like, nail in the coffin. I was like, he absolutely did it. There's no way his ID, their ID, would be in his house in Pennsylvania. Like, there's no denying that. And that's when I stopped talking about the case. Honestly, I'm like, this is done deal. He did it. Done. So I stopped talking about it. And now, following this group on Facebook that he's innocent, they're saying no. It absolutely was not like that. And it wasn't one of the victims. The glove, yeah, if first responders don't go into the CODIS, then I have no idea. Correct. But I still think that, you know, the more I thought about it, good night, Angela, if it was one of the victims, it would have been out already. But then again, maybe the gag order. But they went that far. So I really think that if it was one of the victims, they would have told us. They should have looked at Dylan's boyfriend's black truck. The truck was pulling away on that body cam video, and there's pictures of it in front of it. I don't know. Don't let it stress you out, sweet Carolyn. That black truck was Dylan's boyfriend, allegedly. Phoenix, you want to go get mayo? We have no mayo.
No, not really.
I could. All right, I'll go when I'm done. I used a little bit of sriracha mayo, but it's not the same.
Yeah. You can also make your own mayo.
What?
I said you could make your own mayo.
No, I just need to go get mayo. I don't think so. I think there's a reason it hasn't been discussed in any defense motion. I don't know. My theory changed all the time, Christina. Once, like I said, once I heard that they found an ID of one of the victims in Brian's home in Pennsylvania, done. Absolutely done. I was like, Brian did it. No reason to discuss the case anymore. This case is closed. When trial starts, I'll go back to covering it again. Then all these things about motions were coming out, and, you know, this was this big deal and this was that big deal. I'm like, this is not a big deal. This is standard shit. So even last night when I yelled at, when she thinks I yelled at Stoner, which I didn't mean to, you know, about the death penalty, like Brian said, it's not a big deal. Like, I mean, like Vinny said, it's not a big deal. Like, everyone expected them to go for the death penalty. But this, you know, when me and Stoner were talking last night, and then she was telling me about the evidence, I said, I really haven't read it. And then when I read what I read, to me, there's reasonable doubt, which is what the defense wants. All you have to do is plant reasonable doubt in one person, and that one person might be able to convince someone else. So, I'm sorry, but I kind of think, as of right now, I got reasonable doubt that it was him. We don't have enough evidence yet, though. But based on the facts... Oh, no, she's fine. We talked last night. Everyone's worried about stoned. She was just stoned. No. Yeah, the ID would have been a nail in the coffin. 100%. So that's, you know, like YouTube Watering Hole said, there's so much evidence that we don't know yet. There's so much evidence through, you know, like, I don't even think we know 99% of the evidence. I think we know like 1%. That's it. Just 1%. That's true. I didn't think of that. Plastic sheets in the car. I actually never thought of that, Joy. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Now, you know what this kid's going to do? He's going to make his protein shake. He's going to put it in the sink. He's not going to wash it out and put it in the dishwasher. 2 months left. Just 2 months left. Crazy. So me and Phoenix were trying to figure out this morning, where can I hustle candles from? Just set up a tent somewhere and just hustle. I was like, I'm going to go set up a tent in the middle of the street. Just hustle candles. I just got to be careful because they might melt. Quick money, quick money. I'm going to put a big sign up. College fund. All proceeds go to college fund. And just hustle on the street. I mean, I could do it in front of my house, but my front of my house doesn't get enough traffic. Kids, that's how they are. I'm telling you. See, I was wondering if you could, like, do that near Costco and Sam's Club. I was going to ask them. Because, like, Phoenix was saying at Kroger's or supermarkets, you have to be, like, an organization. Chris, I'm getting off in a minute anyway. What to wear? Absolutely, sweet Carolyn. No, the problem with craft fairs and stuff, they charge you. I'm not looking to pay money. There's one over here that they want like $500 for the season. No thanks. So that's the problem with craft fairs around here. I mean, not that you're not going to make it back, but I don't feel like, you know, doing all that. I don't think we have flea markets here. Everything in Alabama you need a permit for. Yeah, the local fairs are expensive. Yeah, but Nashville's far. That's a 90-minute drive. Yeah, but they're, sweetie pie, what I'm saying is they're some of them are expensive. I mean, like the ones that are cheap that are like 25 or 50 bucks, that I don't care. But a lot of them are like way expensive. Like some of them are like $300 for the day. Oh, I didn't even think of that, sweet Carolyn. Yeah, local farmers markets, they charge you for the season. I mean, one of them around here is like 20 bucks a thing, which I think I might do that one, but I don't know how busy it is. Yeah, I have Facebook Marketplace. But I want quick. I want to be able to set up and go. That's why I needed a camper van. Then I could get my little camper van and park places. That's it. I'm going for a camper van. We're going to do a camper van fund. But I don't have a truck, so I need like a real camper van. Yeah, I heard you, Science Go, I heard you talk about like, you know, costs and stuff. Shit, I spent like tens of thousands of dollars my first year. I mean, I still spend that much. I mean, I easily spend $1,000 a month in supplies. Easily. Let me get spread the love by like and share. Yeah, I think last month I spent like 1,800. But I have wax for days. Right now I have 144 pounds of wax. Because they were having a sale, so I stocked up. That's what I want to do, Karen. That was my whole goal. Was to get a camper van and, travel and sell along the way. That was my whole goal. That's what I'm hoping for, sweetie, but I need to hustle. Like, I got to get him to New York and everything he needs. Like, we're in hustle mode. Visa tax deduction. What state are you in, though? I'm telling you, our local fares are ridiculous. See, $275 for a 3-day pass. That's a lot of money to lay out. That's how they are over here. 3-day pass. I would need a hotel. The amount of stuff I would bring, it would be a $500 trip. Not worth it. Experience overhead kills everything. I know. That's why I said. I mean, I already have a tent. I already have tables. I'll never be in the dark. Exactly. But that's what I was thinking. We need to, like, fucking, my drive is yours? Right, you got a camper van to give me? I need a camper van. That's another thing I was thinking. Just fucking set up in my driveway and put signs everywhere. Yes, that's what I'm going to do, Twyla, but that's not fast money. I need fast boom. We need to raise like $2,000 instantly. And I'm not worried about hustling. I'm just figuring out where to hustle. I don't get enough traffic, though. That's what I'm saying. But I was thinking, like, doing it in my house is probably best, just in case it gets too hot. I can run the candles back inside. That was my other thought. But I may do it. I may just put signs everywhere, put up a tent, and go for it. And see what happens. And call it the college fund. So, speaking of, all right, I really do have to get back to candles. Do a sip and shop event. I'm not gonna have a choice. Like, we need to come up with money. So, for the last couple of days, I've been trying to figure out how to hustle. Where can I do this? I was like, I knew I should have got a camper van. Buy unpaid storage lockers and have a yard sale. No, I would do it at my house. Borrow Dolly's camper and truck? Exactly. Oh, I've been leaving business cards everywhere. I've gotten business from it too. Don't laugh at me. I've been going into like Goodwill and TJ Maxx and leaving business cards around. I've gotten local business from it. I really have. People think I'm crazy. My daughter thinks I'm crazy. Go into gas stations. I'll slide a business card on a shelf, and local business has really picked up from it. So people look, when you leave cards everywhere, like even in Goodwill, like dropping off, not Goodwill, TJ Maxx, inside the purses, I've been dropping business cards. So when someone buys like, $100 purse as a business card, leaving them, in different places throughout TJ Maxx and Marshalls and, on the candle shelf in TJ Maxx. And private loans are a bitch. I'm dealing with it now. Trust me. I don't even know why Sally Mae is giving me money for them. I have no idea. But I was approved to co-sign their loans. Private loans are a bitch. No doubt. Local Facebook buying. Yeah, I do that. And also next door. Yeah, I don't know if old folks' homes, maybe. I've been leaving, like everywhere that I go shopping, I've been leaving cards. The only place, well, it's not impossible. I got them, and I owe tons of money to student debt. Selling them at Whole Foods. Whole Foods isn't that close to me, but they already sell candles. Like my vape store sells candles. So they're not going to let me sell candles. I was thinking about asking Hobby Lobby if I could set up shop there. But I'm gonna have to figure it out. Oh, all right. Well, I'm getting off because I gotta go get mayo. And if I had 3 teenagers to help, I'd be buying storage lockers. I don't need storage lockers. I don't know why I don't need a storage locker. And I only have 1 teenager as of 2 months. And both teenagers are gone. What about your nail person or stylist? Yeah, I can leave cards there. I've left cards there. 7-5. Ooh, that's a good point. Zoomer, they may just let me too. They literally may just let me. Because they are going out of business. That's a good one. That's a really good one. See, that's another thing. We have this place called, it's like an outdoor shopping thing. I got to ask them if they'll let me set up a booth. It's called Bridge Street. Gift shops, hospitals. Yeah, I don't have time to do all that, though. This, yeah, you're right, Zoomer. This has to be, I need this done. Like, I need to hustle fuckloads of candles. They're the ones people default on. It's a whole other business, but it's quick and immediate. Yeah, no, I don't know. That's just not my thing. I have no desire to do all that. And I don't have the money to lay out. Funeral homes, yes. But again, that's you know, I have to write a proposal and all that stuff. I'm not trying to do all that yet. Not trying to do all that just yet. Oh, all right. I'm getting off, though. Don't forget, order your candles. Energycandles.com. But I got to get these orders out. I have a shitload more to make. And that's it. And then I got to go finish my food candles. But I have to get these other orders done first. Then through my aunt's smoke shop sells candles, and she lets independent crafters bring her stuff. Oh, really? All right, I'll go look around for those. I can't sell at the grocery. That's what I'm saying. Phoenix said you have to be an organization. Yes, Karen, that I bought the stuff to do. I bought little 2-ounce candles to do that. I just haven't had the time. I haven't had the time to really go in and, you know, hustle, promote, and leave samples. But all that, like that, all that's set in the work. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. But I bought the vessels for them and everything. Just little 2-ounce tins that are really cute. Look, I started bottling his own water. He makes personalized labels for businesses, and they carry his water and they give it away. Yeah. That's totally separate business. But I know what you're saying. All right. I will see all you beautiful people later. I'm going to try to catch the court. But we'll discuss it tonight. Thank you, Karen. We'll discuss it tonight. The court hearing, I don't think it's live, so I'm not worried. 2 in college and they're spending their inheritance. Carly's insurance part. Yeah, that's another thing. I have to take over Phoenix's insurance. Because he's not going to have, he's not going to pay his insurance when he's gone. So I have to pay for it. So yeah, I'm starting to stress out. I may have to get another job.
You can get Dayton to pay for it.
What?
So you can get Dayton to pay
Yeah,
for it.
if he's going to freaking do it. If he's going to take it. I don't have any inheritance, so it's all on me. But no, they're my kids. If I needed to, like I told my mom this, candles are going wonderful. But if I needed to earn more money and take another job, I don't have a problem doing that. And right now, my candles support all my children. Oh, we're doing fine. But now all this extra expenses and getting him to New York and all this other stuff, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to get another job. Or I just have to hustle my ass off. So that's where we're at. Hustle my ass off. Because I don't want to work again. I like owning my own business. It's wonderful. So, all right. I will see you beautiful people tonight. I got candles to make. So, peace out, bean sprouts. I'll see you guys tonight.